How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. Barrel Aged Stout time in the form of Other Half Brewing, Short Dark, and what is it? Short Dark and Extra Handsome. How could I forget that? Because I am extra handsome and modest and full of myself and joking. Anyway, yeah, super excited to give this a whirl. This came in a beer mail that I received about an hour or so ago from the incomparable Tom. Thank you very much, Tom from Brooklyn. Sent me off a beer mail. I was sitting in my back room, which is kind of like outdoorsy, so it's probably at a nice balmy 50 degrees, which is about perfect for me. At least that's what the thermometer is in here. It actually came hours ago. My girlfriend put it in the back here. And oddly enough, I got 2 beer mails today. I had to do a bunch of stuff, and I got through doing the beer meals and doing stuff at home and said, okay, I want to do a review. And I want to do a barrel-aged review. I just felt like doing when I want a barrel-aged beer in my life because my foot, I sprained my ankle, I've been all fucked up, and I'm finally feeling better today. So I'm like, you deserve, because I wasn't drinking when my ankles were fucked up. And I was like, you deserve beer. And usually when I get stuff in a beer mail, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when I get stuff in a beer mail at first, I'm kind of like, I don't want to drink any of it. I don't want to drink it. I'm like, I want to save it for other people to drink. And but quickly that dissipates. And I was picking through a bunch of beers I wanted to review, barrel-aged stuff. A lot of it came in a beer mail I just received from the West Coast and other beers, but they're all like bigger bombers in 750s. I was like, I do not want to drink that all to myself. So yeah, here we have a 16.9% or 16.9 ounce. So you're basically looking at your 300 milliliter, was it 300, 375 milliliter bottle? And I said, that foots the bill. Story time. Too long. Anyway, let's get into beer. Other Half. Did a couple of reviews of growlers. I believe my first bottle or can review I've done. Although in the same beer mail came a bunch of Other Half cans, so we getting a barrage of those. As far as what it says on this one here, it says Other Half Short Dark and Extra Handsome Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. Other Half Brewing Company. Done. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty ghetto label-wise. Their logo is kind of in the background. You can barely see it, but it's really done really nice. I mean, there's no pretension on the bottle. Their art design to me is really fucking awesome. From their cans to their bottles, they rarely, there's not a lot of story time on them. And I don't know, that just kind of does it for me. So I dig it. Let's see what's inside because that's what fucking matters. So I don't know if this is a new offering from them. I don't know if this is an old one because I do not do any research beforehand, but I do know I'm going to talk about it. Not much head to speak of. If there were a head, and if we were to force it to have a head without spilling beer everywhere, let's see if we could get this churning around, see if we can garner a head of this. It's really fucking dark because those bubbles that were in there were really dark. So, holy fucking bourbon from here, Jesus Christ. So yeah, the head that little kind of puddle floating around there that does have really dark, what I like my coffee to look like. And as far as the actual color itself, I mean, that shit is fucking death in a glass. That is dark as dark can fucking be. So, I mean, it's an Imperial Stout, Asian bourbon barrels. That's very generic. It could be a bunch of different kind of stouts. It could be different bourbons. It could be different times. But based off what I smell right now, it's bourbon in a fucking glass. So, let's get into those. The right kind of bourbon is what it is in a fucking glass. I like bourbon barrel-aged beers. I like brandy barrel-aged beers. I like apple brandy barrel-aged beers. Wine barrel-aged beers. I like barrel-aged beers. They're very nice. I like oak-aged beers. I like non-barrel-aged beers. I like pretty much every beer except for smoked beers. And I shouldn't say that because I can get down with smoked beer. Anyway, this has a lot of the barrel profile that I really enjoy. And the best way I've been able to explain that or express that barrel profile is soft, smoky, barrel charred. It's really, charry, but not overly charred. Subtle smoke with, like, smells like it's been rubbed, like milk chocolate kind of vibe. That's what I'm getting from this. So I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting coconut. It's a bourbon barrel, you're going to get vanilla. You hope you get coconut, what you're getting in here, but you're also getting that kind of barrel rubbed with milk chocolate kind of vibe that I really dig. You do get a bit of roasted malts in there, but they're very subtle. The barrel's the star of the show in this sucker. I don't know if they date their bottles, but you'd probably be able to look this sucker up as far as release on it. It doesn't say anything on the label or on the bottle that I can see, but it smells very fresh. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. All about the barrel. Subtle beer notes in there with just subtle roasted malt, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to dive in, see what the verdict is. Cheers. This is a weird beer. Yeah. The nose is so robust. The nose is so robust. I expect to be knocked on my ass with bourbon. And while it's there in spades. It's not knocking me out. It's an extremely enthusiastic warm hug. Now let's put it that way. It's not a punch to the face. Soft barrel, sweet bourbon, boozy sweet bourbon that's not overly hot. Thinner than it should be. I think a carbonation has a lot to do with it. Undercarbonated, I find your lack of carbonation disturbing. Not as bad as, like, let's say, the king of undercarbonation, which would be Hair of the Dog's Putin. But it reminds me of that beer a lot. I'm starting to get a lot more coffee, a lot more roasted malts out of this. So kind of sipping on it, it's going to open up a little bit for you and kind of bring a little bit more to the table. This honestly, what this is drinking as, and I don't think this is what it is, but this is what it's drinking like to me, is either it's spent like too much time in a barrel, I'm talking like 5 years, or it's aged already. Like it's been aged for like 6 years or 5 years in the bottle, but it kind of like just little bit of enough oxidation, I should say, not a little oxidation, enough oxidation in there to kind of just release that fucking carbonation and kind of flatten it out a little bit without making it go sideways with a lot of like overtly bad oxidation notes like mustiness and dirty, filthy mildewiness and some stuff I actually like in beers. But yeah, I dig it. But it's outside the norm of what you typically expect in a bourbon barrel aged stout. Let's put it that way. It's a little bit, I don't want to say sideways, it's different. Yeah, it just tastes aged to me. And like just on the downswing kind of aged. But yeah, roasted malts coming through now big. The more I drink it, the more I get it. Nice coffee in there. The bourbon now has settled out to be more of a secondary note, which is fun to kind of have that transition over such a short period of time. And that sweetness is still there, but it's not overly sweet. It's thin, it's lacking carbonation, but I still dig it. And that barrel char is still there to put a little smile on my face because I like that barrel character. So there you go. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? No. Is it one of the more interesting barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? Yeah, I'd classify it as that. Just because the way the flavors are being delivered and the transition from huge bourbon to now getting more beer out of it kind of does it for me. Let's see. Value and availability. It's other half. It's Brooklyn. I didn't pay for it. It was sent to me. So take your best guess. I assume it's a brewery-only release. And let's talk about if you like what? If you like this. If you like aged beers. If you like aged bourbon barrel aged beers. Ones that are very aged, you'll like this. If you like if you like Hair of the Dog's Putin, or you want to try Hair of the Dog's Putin, try this, because this is very similar. Not the same beer by any means, but enough to make you be like, okay, you know, it'd be fun to do it side by side to see the difference. Yeah, if you like barrel character, or the barrel character that I like, because this has it in spades, and that is a good thing. So there you go, another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you did or you didn't, or somewhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below and like all that fun stuff. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped. Me, Massive Beers, all in that shit. So find me there. That's pretty much it. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice barrel-aged beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.